Who are the best players in college football during the 2018 season? We're here to tell you numbers 1 through 101. Steve Palazzolo here with Mike Renner. That's right, we ranked every single top player in college football. We went up to 101. We're mirroring our NFL PFF 101. So we're going to try to squeeze quick analysis on 50 guys here, Mike. That's pretty easy, right? We're going to give you 51 through 101. So let's get right into it. Real quick, the criteria here, it's not completely positional based. It's all positions created equally. We had to make some adjustments. Right. No, we don't like fullbacks. We don't like kickers and punters. They didn't make the list. We had to adjust a little bit for competition the way things are in college. So it's not just all the top quarterbacks and all the big names. Every position created fairly equally. So let's get into it. Numbers 91 through 101. You'll see a big name like Devin Bush sitting there at 101, Mike.
Yeah, had one of the best pass rushing grades among off-ball linebackers in the country. That's sort of been his calling card over the course of his career there at Michigan, but he can cover as well. I mean, he had a fantastic overall season on that Michigan defense.
Love TJ Hawkinson there from Iowa, and then the guy that really stood out during the college football playoff, Isaiah Simmons from Clemson. He just brought so much speed to the table, hybrid linebacker, safety, cornerback, did it all for that Clemson team.
Yeah, he's sort of that perfect position that's sort of unique to college football, that outside linebacker / slot corner / safety that a lot of teams you see employ. He was great in that role in terms of all he could do from a coverage standpoint and against the run.
And then the other key name here, Christian Fulton from LSU, the other corner at LSU, because Greedy Williams gets all of the publicity, but Christian Fulton actually had a better grade this year.
Actually had a better grade, 39.5 completion percentage allowed this season. That was top 10 in the entire country. Those LSU corners were difficult to pass against.
All right, let's get into the next 10. So numbers 81 through 90. Again, some big names. I love Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State, Juju Hughes, one of those underrated players from Fresno State, and then Gerald Willis from Miami, former Florida transfer, really caught our eye early and often this season.
Yeah, the recruiting class way back like
Tebow's
6 years ago. Yeah, he was
yeah.
well back in the day, but finally gets a full season of college football under his belt here. Was dominant early in the season in that game. You think back against LSU, he took over that game, showed flashes, wasn't necessarily consistent enough to get higher on this list, but still one of the best interior defenders in the country.
Another notable name, N'Keal Harry, coming in at number 82. Might sound low given how big of a name he is. He was a little inconsistent, but definitely a threat down the field. Scored a touchdown on 20% of the time he was targeted, 20-plus yards down the field. And then I love Keenan Brown from Texas State. The top-graded overall tight end at 87 overall, just really good after the catch as well. Let's get to 71 through 80. Notable name here, starting with Clelin Ferrell from Clemson, loaded defensive line. I think a lot of people had Ferrell maybe a little bit higher. They're expecting him to go high in the NFL draft, but from a production standpoint, he was never really at that elite level in the PFF grade.
Yeah, he didn't have the consistency of Christian Wilkins or Dexter Lawrence there along that Clemson defensive line, but he took over some own games in his own right. Had 2 games with 8 pressures, 2 games with 6 pressures, so he could dominate at times, but the consistency not quite there. That's why he's lower on this list.
And then what about Wisconsin tackle Cole Van Lanen? He didn't even start for a big chunk of the season. He was in and out of the lineup, but when he was on the field, he was really, really good.
This is a name to know for some future drafts down the road here. Came in at left tackle, like you said, was not expected to start and played incredibly well for them. They're one of their highest graded linemen on probably the best offensive line in the nation per our grading.
And then Drew Lock is the other big name to highlight here at number 74. Continued to improve throughout his college career, did a good job of taking care of the ball, finished 12th in our overall grading. Lock was a guy who we didn't love coming into the season. I think he's continuing to grow on all of our evaluators as we look forward to the NFL draft. And then Derek Brown from Auburn, another guy. So many good interior defensive linemen. Yes. He gets overshadowed a little bit, but he had an excellent season. Let's go to 61 through 70, Mike. Any big names that stand out here during this group?
Well, there's a handful of guys in this group that I like. One, Calvin Throckmorton. I've talked about him ad nauseum, I feel like, on here. He's the Oregon right tackle, kicked over to left tackle at times for them this year. He might be a guard at the next level, but he is one of the most dominant run blockers in the entire country. And Devin Singletary, we highlighted him on the running back video about early declarations, led the entire country in broken tackles this season. He is a tough man to bring down.
And then TJ Edwards from Wisconsin at number 61. Multiple years of just really good grading from TJ Edwards. Tied with Devin White of LSU for the 9th overall grade among linebackers. Top 30 in run defense, tackling, coverage. So he was just a really good all-around linebacker. And let's wrap up this portion, 51 through 60. We see Ryan Finley, quarterback from NC State. We see Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver from Alabama. And then Laviska Shenault. Man, if this guy didn't get hurt, this guy was in the Heisman conversation at least halfway through the season.
For my money, the most fun player to watch in the entire country. His burst and explosion after the catch was unbelievable. He had that game right at the beginning of the season where I think he broke 8 tackles or something. Just ludicrous there. He was so much fun to watch. He was that Colorado offense for the majority of the season. And also, one of my favorite defensive players to watch in this group as well, Greg Gaines, out of Washington, doesn't wear gloves, plays the nose there.
Swag, nothing.
Doesn't get moved off the ball, though. He is an old school throwback type of player. He was huge for Washington this season.
Yeah, so we don't distinguish against pass rush versus run defense. We respect those run defenders when it comes to the PFF College 101. So Greg Gaines, not only great this year, but just a fantastic all-around career for the Huskies. So there you have it. That's 51 through 101. Please tune in to the rest of the videos and check out the rest of the countdown. And of course, let us know in the comments what you think of our beautiful rankings here. It's the PFF College 101.